the recording industry, the video industry, the radio industry, which tends to not to homogenize, flatten things out, give us this little bubblegum music that's thin and shallow and hollow. Do you see any tendencies that cut up against that and might begin to generate a new kind of, not a golden era, certainly a better era than
it's called the internet.
The internet's working, as you say?
Yeah, the internet was a way of the music business purging itself. It's too many artists. You know, one year we released 57 artists on one label. That's so right. It was a way of purging itself. The consumption of music is at an all-time high. People are still consuming music.
But differently. They get it from different sources.
You have
a passage about Napster, and I think that's very interesting.
That was a way to, because in the beginning, you know, musicians perform because they love it. We weren't high-paid businessmen. We just, you know, played on the corner for pennies and nickels, and then it became profitable, and then it became, you know, exploited. So I think the internet is a way to bring it back, just a touch, you know, bring it back to that core, and not to have a self-plug, but that's why I left outside of the system of the music business, to have the freedom to build artists and take 2 years. And you know, people don't even believe in artist development anymore. It's very difficult. You put a single out there, and if it doesn't work, you just move on. And, you know, it takes time for people to find themselves and find their voice and know what they want to talk about. You know, fortunately for me, my first album came out, I was 26. I was mature in that way, that I knew who I was. I knew what I wanted to say. I had a wealth of life experiences that I could draw upon and still draw upon to this day. And that shows you a career built on, you know, real life experiences, real emotions that I can draw on at any given time.
What was you doing in 2010? Jay-Z, 2010, called it the internet, new day and age. I think they even mentioned Napster in there. I never had Napster. Like, we live in a day and age where it's currently like Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, you know, Amazon Music, YouTube Music. How can I leave out YouTube? This whole video is going to motherfucking YouTube. All these, you know, streaming services and streaming platforms that we're all accustomed to getting our music. One of the main reasons why I wanted to like pull this clip for this Wednesday Wisdom is to kind of like highlight the fact that even though we live in like this new day and age where we have the power of the internet, we have the power of social media, we understand what these different platforms can do in being able to skyrocket different creatives' careers. The game hasn't changed in the fact that it's a business first. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I wanted to really bring this clip to kind of bring the picture full circle. This clip is from 10 years, this interview is from 10 years ago. It's a whole decade ago. You know how much shit happens in a decade? Like, for you to be speaking on things that are still relevant today means that you probably, you definitely knew a little bit about something, right? Like, we're not even talking about Napster today, right? We talking about Spotify, we talking about Apple Music and Amazon Music and, you know, YouTube Music and all these other different internet streaming platforms that people are basically going to and subscribing to be able to get their daily dose of whatever content they feel like, you know, indulging in, right? Like, so it's your responsibility to understand, like, okay, where's the consumer market, number one, okay, and how do I get my stuff on the consumer market, and then how do I actually find the people that give a fuck about the stuff that I'm putting out so that they can consume it. You know, that's the hope. I'm the producer of the content, and I need consumers. That's the only way that this whole thing like works, right? The only reason that producers like have a space in this world is because consumers exist, you know? You have somebody that is willing to consume the product. You have somebody that is willing to invest in the product. How do you find those people? Marketing. That's literally, it's targeted marketing. It's a matter of understanding like your niche. It's a matter of understanding your brand. It's a matter of understanding, okay, as an artist, this is my voice. This is my messaging. This is where I shine. This is the kind of stuff I want to discuss or talk about or represent, right? And it's also understanding who it is that you're talking to, who it is that you're reaching, and knowing where these people, you know, not just knowing where they are in the world, but like what are some of their practices and habits. And a lot of times it doesn't really take you thinking too far outside of where you currently are, because it's no different than a lot of the same things that make you gravitate to an artist. You know, what are some things that make you a fan of somebody, that make you want to be like, all right, what's the name of that track, or who is this artist, or like, let me cover this song. Like, if you look at some of the things that make you drawn to other artists out there and other creatives and their bodies of work, then it'll start to kind of put into perspective what the consumer mindset is and what a consumer is looking for. And then you can actually build out a marketing strategy based on certain like habits and stuff like that of the consumer to actually put your content in front of that. ideal type of consumer, you know? So that's a matter of marketing. That comes down to marketing. I think a lot of times as artists, like, you understand the basic principle of marketing. Like, you understand, like, you know what, like, if you have money, or if you have exposure, or if you have an avenue or a route to be able to get your stuff in front of a wide variety of people, then that's a recipe for success. Not necessarily the case though. Because, you know, you got to warm up your crowd. You got to get people familiar with who you are. The only way to do that is to build up a body of content, so that by the time you actually put your effort into marketing that content and reaching like your widespread fans and lookalike fans, or whatever the case may be, like people that are going to be ideal consumers of your art, of your work, of your brand, of your content and things like that. Like, you have to have the content on your platform to market, like, you, if that makes sense. Like, if you got one track out there and you're like, you know, I'm about to put all of this attention into marketing it and trying to reach 1 million people that's gonna rock with it, like, what if you don't secure their attention in that first round of marketing? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the retention coming from? You know, you have to have a body of work out there that allows people to basically keep coming back to you. You know, like, if they don't subscribe that first round, if they don't listen to your content or look you up or go researching you, how many points of contact are you allowing them to actually have to get familiar with who you are as an artist before they say, you know what, I actually have a vested interest in digging into this person's story a little bit more? You have to generate that that buzz, and the only way to do that is to, you know, build up a brand and a platform, as I've been mentioning in a lot of my videos for like Wednesday Wisdom and just other segments on this channel. You got to build up your content. Once you build up your content and it's kind of clear, you know, who you are as an entity and as a brand, you can market that content to like endless crowds and revise your marketing strategy to kind of fine tune who the people are that are going to be the most interested in consuming your content, and then you can scale it from there. You have endless abilities to scale once you've kind of found like a core type, you know, of people that are interested in consuming your content. But you can't do any of that successfully or even begin that journey or that walk if you don't have any content out there. We live in a day and age where it's like, you had the information day and age, you had the technology day and age. We're like in a value day and age, and I'm not like trying to like brand that a particular way, but we live in a value day and age. Like, with everything that we've been indoctrinated with and just kind of seen play out, we're in a day and age where people, you know, they don't got time to try to vet through a million different things to figure out what works and what doesn't. They want you to be transparent and real and just straight up, like, you know, and straightforward. So in being straightforward and then, you know, putting out stuff that people actually want to see, you're not necessarily going to generate the buzz up front because it's too much to filter through on this thing called the internet. And it's very easy to see the internet is like a very saturated space to get involved in, because it's like, just when you know, think, you know what, I'm about to try to put whatever I have out here on the platform, you see somebody else that may have a bigger following, and that may intimidate you a bit, and that may make you feel like, you know what, this space is too saturated. It's not the case at all. I'm gonna tell you why. And this is something that should really change everybody's perspective. The very people that you see on these platforms, like, you may see somebody with 1 million subscribers, right? Did you know them a week ago? Or if you like are just coming across somebody, like, this happens to like every one of us have a situation where we are just coming across or just discovering somebody that millions of people have already discovered online, right? So how is it that millions of people can know and be talking about actively who a particular person is, or an entity or a brand, but by the time you get in to the conversation, it's like old news? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you ever see, it's like, by the time you discover this person, they got 700,000 subscribers on their platform, or it's like 1 million people already are familiar with who they are. So that should tell you in and of itself, like right there, that no, it's not a saturated space. It's just that this person understood the power of basically putting their expertise in the essence of who they are on a platform, and then they understood like the marketing that you can do to basically scale your audience to reach people and then to scale. Just wanted to kind of hit on bullet points and highlights for sake of this video. Jay-Z, he's an icon in the game. He's a legend. You know, 10 years ago, he knew exactly what was coming with the internet. He knew exactly what was coming with streaming services and stuff like that. And guess what? He was perfectly positioned to be able to capitalize. You got Tidal, which is one of the, that's what I'm saying, one of the biggest streaming services right now today. And as an independent artist, one of my goals is actually to be able to get a lot of those numbers on Tidal. You get a bigger payout than Spotify, than Apple Music, than pretty much all of them. So, I mean, you got to understand the business, because you got to understand the business. That's literally, the business is what enables people to profit off of their skill sets. It's your job to manifest your vision into reality. So all that paying attention to what everybody else is doing around you and trying to figure out how and why, all that's going to do is distract you from what you're supposed to be doing and the work that you're supposed to be doing to manifest your own vision. So if anything, what I would enable you to do is like take what you see around you and learn from everybody that you can, even people that you don't see as like your friends or somebody that you may like or a personality that you vibe with. There's something that we can learn from everybody. You know, I remember there's a post recently that I saw probably a couple weeks ago. There are two boys that were raised by an alcoholic father. One of them grew up to be an alcoholic. The other one didn't, you know. They were asked about, you know, what happened in their life and what you know, inspired them to, or what influenced them in their life to become whatever they became. The alcoholic son responded and said, I watched my father. The non-alcoholic son basically responded and said, I watched my father. What does that tell you? Something that we can learn from everybody. It's a matter of what you choose to see and what you choose to get. So by looking at people, even if you don't like what they're doing, one thing that you can learn is what not to do. If you don't rock with what they're doing, then guess what? You know exactly what not to do. If you do like what they're doing, then you know exactly what you can duplicate. Either way, you got revelation. You have something that enables you to take action and move forward. And that's something that you didn't have at first. So with that stated, I don't want to take up too much time on this Wednesday wisdom. You know, happy Wednesday. If y'all do like the content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications bell as well, just to make sure that you guys never miss another video from me. And with that stated, I love y'all. Stay down, stay blessed, stay safe out here. I'm gonna see y'all on the next video.